Battle through the firmament. Great world. Chapter 435 Exiting the forbidden area. Won't die. Xiaoyan opened his mouth but didn't say anything. He just nodded his head and stretched out his palm. The black flame obediently appeared in his palm. If it wasn't for the fact that he had witnessed the power of this flame, no one would have thought that it was a flame that could corrode a heavenly sovereign at its peak. I have already erased the mark on the all-embracing nether flame. You can control it. This flame is a great threat to the soul demon. Unfortunately, the turbid yin qi is good, but there is no trace of the underworld fire. The source of the underworld fire was found in forest domain. The old man shook his head. With a wave of his sleeve, the 3 fragments of the star sky tablet appeared in front of Xiaoyan. These are the sacred fragments of the star field. Initially, I wanted to give them to the heavens, but unfortunately, I am only a mass of qi. I can't leave the forbidden area. Take them first. If you have the chance, give them to the guardians of the heavens. As he spoke, the old man snapped his fingers. In an instant, the space in front of him wriggled. The spatial fragments fell layer by layer, revealing pitch-black bone-piercing spatial cracks. Crack, crack. The spatial fragments swiftly gathered together under the control of the old man. The old man suddenly grabbed with his 5 fingers. 5 waves of clear qi surged out from his fingertips and wrapped around the spatial fragment. In an instant, a storage ring appeared out of thin air. If you damage your storage ring, I will compensate you with 1. Its quality should be a little better than that 1. The old man smiled. His body slowly faded, turning into streams of qi that entered the tomb below once again. Remember, you must find a way to stop Yav Mu. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles in the future. The old man's figure gradually disappeared, but his voice was still heavy and powerful, resounding in Xiaoyan's ears. Before Xiaoyan could nod his head in agreement, the old man had already completely disappeared. The tomb below was slowly closing at this moment. If one took a closer look, one would discover that a few cracks had suddenly appeared on the stone tablet in front of the tomb, as if it would collapse at any moment. The moment the old man's body disappeared, the entire place suddenly trembled. Endless aura surged from all directions and smashed onto Xiaoyan's body. The latter only felt darkness before he lost consciousness. In another forbidden area, where the Southern Sky Academy was located. In a world filled with stars, a huge bright moon hung high in the night sky, as if it was far away in the horizon, but also as if it was right in front of his eyes. On the grass, an extremely beautiful woman sat cross-legged. The woman's face was delicate and exquisite. At this moment, the expression on her pretty face was somewhat pale. Her eyebrows were tightly knitted, as if she was enduring intense pain. Tusk, tusk, tusk. The natural star-moon physique is simply the perfect inheritor of the Star Lord. Unfortunately, it hasn't been opened yet. While the woman was sitting cross-legged with her eyes closed, a clear voice sounded out from somewhere. In the next moment, a man wearing a starry robe and holding a starry staff suddenly appeared beside the woman. The man's robe flickered with stars, and the endless stars in the world seemed to come from his body. What a pity. If my real body was here, I would have perfectly activated this star-moon. It's rare for me to encounter a natural star-moon body, so I'll let you become the inheritance of this Dharma idol. The man had an imposing appearance and was brimming with qi. He looked at Zhou Exingyu, who was as delicate as a porcelain doll, and smiled. He clenched his hand and a scepter appeared in his hand. The top of the scepter seemed to be holding a bright moon. The bright moon rotated slowly and was filled with an endless aura. The star moon is eternal, boundless, and the great Tao is supreme. The stars will fall from the sky. Starlight flowed around the man's body as if he was chanting an ancient spiritual voice. The starlight all over his body surged onto Zhou Exingyu. Star domain arts of synchronization, falling star sky. Following the man's soft shout, endless starlight burst out from his body. At the same time, the starlight that filled the sky rained down. Endless stars suddenly circulated and turned into fist-sized objects of starlight that completely wrapped around Zhou Exingyu. Under the illumination of the starlight, she looked like a saint. Not long after, the man's figure gradually faded. The stars in the sky also vanished at the same time. Zhou Exingyu still closed her eyes and did not wake up. The moment the man disappeared, her whole body fell to the ground powerlessly. Between her eyebrows, an extremely dim star-moon-shaped pattern appeared. At the same time, the heaven and earth he was in suddenly disappeared. Not far away, Zhou Buyi and the other two had appeared out of nowhere. All of them fainted. In an extremely dangerous place, Zhu Mo fell to the ground powerlessly. He could only watch helplessly as Zhou Yuan was swallowed by the black mist that was spreading towards him. In the end, he completely disappeared. Yuanair. Zhu Mo's heart ached like a knife being twisted by a knife. He also felt regret in his heart. He had underestimated the forbidden area of Star Moon Island. Even in the current situation, the forbidden area was not a place that people of their level could enter and exit as they wished. Bastard! Zhu Mo's fist slammed into the ground, and his voice was shrill. He was thinking that he was clever enough to send his beloved disciple to his death. Shaoyan, what happened? In the dense forest, Ma Huyang suddenly opened his eyes and jumped up from a green rock. He suddenly felt a weak feeling in his body. His eyes paused and he immediately saw Shaoyan sitting quietly not far away. Senior Mu, you're awake. Shaoyan looked at Ma Huyang and said with a smile. What's going on? At the bamboo forest. Where's the black flame? Are we still in the forbidden area? Ma Huyang looked around and saw that everyone was in a dense forest. He frowned and said, I'm ashamed to say that. That black flame seems to be afraid of the monic flame, so it didn't wrap around me. After that, I used the monic flame to force the flames back and saved you all. After the black flame faded, I used the monic flame to force the flames back and saved you all. I don't know what happened, but the forbidden area automatically disappeared. We appeared here. Shaoyan smiled helplessly and told them what he had prepared beforehand. Regarding the identity of the old man, it had too much to do with him. Currently, Shaoyan wasn't ready to tell them this kind of news. What's going on? When Ma Huyang heard this, his expression returned to normal. The difference between Shaoyan and the few of them was that he had a rare natural treasure like the monic flame. In this way, he could accept it. It's really unbelievable that he can come out of the forbidden area alive. Clenching his teeth, Ma Huyang used all his strength to stand up. On the huge rock beside him, Lin Dao and Wu Shaoqi woke up one after another and listened to Shaoyan's explanation. Although they were shocked in their hearts, they all believed it at the same time. They now had a better understanding of the mystery of the forbidden area in Star Moon Island. After resting for a while and waiting for the few of them to recover their strength, Shaoyan and the others continued their journey and walked in the group. Shaoyan's expression remained the same, but he was secretly shocked in his heart. The arts of synchronization that the old man taught him was called Xing Luo. The so-called arts of synchronization was a mysterious technique that appeared along with the emergence of a realm. When this technique was used, it would be enhanced by the entire realm, and its power would be boundless. It didn't belong to any saint skill or monic skill. Each realm had a corresponding arts of synchronization, and the technique in the starry river was called the Star Law. Due to various reasons, it was divided into 3 parts. The Xing Luo that Shaoyan possessed was the second part. Since it was the arts of synchronization of a realm, the requirement to cast it was undoubtedly much more difficult. Before Ma Huyang and the other 2 woke up, Shaoyan had already made a rough estimation. With his current level of cultivation, if he used the falling stars, however, its power was also incomparably great. If he were to use it with the help of the entire star field, its power wouldn't be inferior to a 3-colored fire lotus. Big brother Kang Feng, Shang Shaoshan and the others looked at the black-haired young man in front of them with pale faces, but their hearts were filled with doubt. Originally, they were trapped in the forbidden area, and the yellow sand was flying towards them. It was like sticky mud, wrapping around them. It caused everyone to lose consciousness. At the same time, countless skeleton undead beasts came one after another. When they thought they would die for sure, all of this suddenly disappeared. When they woke up, they saw Kang Feng remaining silent. He was sitting cross-legged beside them. They have all woken up. Let's go and kill them. Kang Feng smiled. He stood up and took the lead to walk towards the top of the mountain. Shang Xiaoshan and the other two hastily nodded their heads and followed behind him. Although they were puzzled, they were more excited because they could escape from the forbidden area. Their luck was really extraordinary. Teacher, a soft call rang in Zhu Mo's ears. When the latter opened his eyes, he saw Zhou Yuan sitting next to him with a smile on his face. Zhu Mo rubbed his eyes. Seeing that Zhou Yuan was still intact, he cried with joy. He held the former in his arms and shouted, "God has eyes. Teacher, let's go, otherwise those people will suspect us." Zhou Yuan struggled out of Zhu Mo's arms with great difficulty and could not help but smile bitterly. Okay, let's go." Zhu Mo wiped the sweat from his forehead and got up in a hurry. He pulled Zhou Yuan's arm and moved like a bolt of lightning towards the top of the mountain. In an instant, he was nowhere to be seen. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.